Hey everybody, Trucker John here, and welcome to the Friday meeting. Check out my new truck right there, brand new Peterbilt. Tell you what, it's a good time to work for Prime. Check me out on YouTube, Trucker John.
Good morning, everyone. It's May 28th, and we are coming to you from the basement of the Z Building as we do each Friday, but we believe this is our last and final meeting from the basement. People have been crying for our safety meetings. I think we are just about there. We spent some time this week looking at the audio visual, making sure we'll be able to tie in the brand new Salt Lake City terminal, tie in Piston, include Facebook Live in the driver meeting, do all that at one time. So we are planning for next Friday to have a live safety meeting here in Springfield with a free breakfast for everyone that's in the yard. So a little bit of good news right there. A couple of things I want to talk to you about this morning before we get to our speakers. Number one, always with safety, I try to be transparent with you, let you know what's going on. We struggled a little bit this morning. It doesn't happen often, but we did have 2 rollovers this morning. Very unfortunate. Fortunately, neither driver was hurt, so that's a good thing. We're still taking a look at them, see exactly what happened, but it's always just a good reminder, regardless of the time of day, regardless of your experience level, always be focused out there. Be focused on what you're doing. It only takes just a couple of seconds for something to happen, and it can be a life-changing event for you. Again, neither driver was hurt, so we're very fortunate for that. But we do like to be as safe as possible out there. So I just wanted to bring that up with you. One other thing I want to talk about as we kind of ease out of some of the restrictions we've been living under with COVID. We're going to have our first major banquet, but there are a few limitations on this banquet. So let me talk about our Million Mile Dinners for just a minute. Last year in 2020, we were able to get in our first Million Mile Dinner, and that was for all Prime drivers that achieved at least 1 million safe miles and reached that goal in 2019. We had that dinner in 2020, so we were able to honor those folks. What we were not able to do was have the second dinner last year that would have been for our 2, 3, and 4 million mile safe drivers. We're going to rectify that here in June. I think it's June 14th, but we're going to have to limit the attendance. And I'm going to send a Qualcomm message out today to make sure everyone understands what we're doing and why. But we are going to have a 2, 3, and 4 million mile safe dinner that will honor everyone that achieved that milestone in 2019 and in 2020. We'll have all them live at the convention center, but what we will not be able to do is invite all the people that previously have earned that 2, 3, and 4 million safe mile designation. We'll be back on track next year, but with just the folks we have for the last 2 years, that's going to be well over 200 people. We're going to spread out. We're going to take some precautions there, but this is our first event coming back after basically being in COVID-19 lockdown. So please bear with us. I apologize that we can't invite everyone, but it is important that we get the drivers that achieve this incredible milestone, that we get them there live. So again, what we'll be doing is those drivers that achieve 2, 3, and 4 million safe miles in either 2019 or 2020, we'll have that dinner on June 14th. Pam Linhart will be organizing it as usual, getting invitations out to you. You'll be invited along with a guest, and we'll honor each of those drivers at that banquet. If you have any questions on that, let us know. We're doing the best we can. We're going to kind of step into this. We had questions last week. What about the picnic? What about the truck driving championship? They're still in play. I think we're going to be able to do those. We're cautious about it. We've taken off our masks here in Springfield. Let's see what happens. We're bringing folks back to work next week that have been working from home for over a year as we kind of rotate those folks in. Let's just see where this takes us. If everything is still good, if we're staying healthy, we're going to keep expanding what our opportunities are. So I just wanted to get that out. We talked about next week's meeting. It's going to be live. We've talked about the Million Mile Dinner. We talked about a few accidents. So that's kind of our safety update today. What our lineup is today, and I'm kind of thinking I probably need to make sure I always get this out at the front of the meeting so you can be thinking of your questions. So what we have today is we have leasing. We always get a lot of questions on leasing. We've got Kylah, we've got Chelsey, and we've got Brittany here today. One of the things I wanted them to talk about is kind of the truck selection process, I've qualified, I've done my miles, I've been safe, I should be upgrading, but you're telling me there's not a truck for me. What does all that mean? Well, it means it's super always changing. Either we've got more drivers than we have trucks, or we have more trucks than we have drivers. It's tough to balance it out. I think leasing does a great job on that. So the three ladies are going to kind of talk about that process so we minimize your downtime and make sure we get you a truck just as soon as we possibly can. We want to make sure the trucks are ready for you. We want to make sure we get you in when everything will be seamless and you're not sitting around. So they're going to talk about that. They'll also take other leasing questions that you have. We've seen in the past, Kylah does a super job on those. So hit her with some questions. I'm sure she'll be glad to take those. We've got Dr. Abraham here today from Trinity Health. We asked Dr. Abraham to come in and just kind of maybe summarize where we are with COVID-19. We know we're opening back up, we're bringing folks back, but we wanted to get some of Dr. A's insight on this. And if you have questions about whether it's the vaccine or what's going to happen next year, is COVID going to come back? What's all this mean? We've got a great resource with Dr. Abraham. We've got some operations folks. Brett could not be here from the tanker division. He said he did want me to thank all his operators for everything that you do out there. Wish you a safe and happy Memorial Day. But he just could not be here today. He's dealing with some issues in the tanker division. We've got Brian Brown from the Flatbed division, and we'll see if we have the reefer division. And then we'll close out with Robert and Steve. So before I turn it over to leasing, there is one thing I do want to say, that Monday is Memorial Day. Let's remember the real reason for that holiday. It's for those servicemen that actually gave their life while on active duty, normally in combat, protecting our country, protecting our values, keeping us free. So take a minute and think about that, of those that have gone before us and made the ultimate sacrifice. We would not be here without their sacrifice. So I just did want to get that out there on Memorial Day. So enough from me right now. We want to get going. So I'm going to ask Kylah and Brittany and Chelsey to come on up, and they will take over. Andrea's at her PC monitoring the questions. So send us your questions.
Hi guys, I'm Kylah from Success Leasing. I've got Brittany and Chelsey here with me. We're going to go over just a little bit about what the truck availability list is and the upgrade process, really for you getting into a truck on the leasing side. So first I wanted to mention though that we are very appreciative of your guys' patience. We understand that you guys are out on the road, you're anxious to get into a truck. And really what we're doing from our side or our perspective is making sure that your downtime is limited as best we can once you get here to the yard. So you might be out on the road with your trainer, a week or two more than you had originally planned, but we're really trying to minimize that downtime once you get here and make your process as seamless as possible.
Yes, so first thing we want to talk about is the truck availability list. This is our master waiting list that we have you on typically while you're out with your trainer, or just for the time being until we can bring you in for a truck. So bottom line is, once you're approved off that truck availability list, you can come in, take your classes. Once you have been cleared, after taking all of your classes, then you are given the check-in link to be put on our list for a truck. So there's a lot of confusion usually between those two lists. So the truck availability list is the list you have to be on before you can be put on our waiting list for a truck. So once you are checked in, you'll be waiting on a call. If your company, you'll be waiting on a call from me. I assign company drivers. And this truck availability list, I should say, is for upgrade reefer drivers. But for flatbed and tanker, you don't have to be on the truck availability list, but you do have to be cleared still before we'll put you on our list for a truck. So like I said, I assign company. I'll give you a call as soon as I have a truck available for you. Brittany and I are constantly hounding the shops, checking on trucks, trying to do everything in our power that we can to try and get these trucks turned around and ready for you all. So you want to go over the lease?
I assign lease. It's basically the same process, except I will call you whenever it's your turn to look at trucks, and you will actually get to choose your truck on the lease side. I update the list every morning at 9 a.m. I will call you when it's your turn to look at trucks. We will go through the list. You'll be able to pick the truck you would like to go look at. I will be able to tell you where the truck is on the yard. You'll be able to go look at it and test drive it. You'll have about 3 hours to look at that truck, and then you'll come back to me and see me and get your inspection, and we'll go from there if you like that truck. So it's basically the same process, just with lease side, you actually get to choose what you want.
To kind of expand off of that, the truck availability list is really there to kind of help us manage how many people we have coming into the yard. So like I mentioned before, we're really trying to minimize your downtime, and that kind of lets us work with the shops to let them know how many to expect to come in that week.
Ready for some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon asked, are you offering manual transmission still?
We do not offer manual transmissions into our standard fleet. So if you're wanting to purchase a truck and do a lease purchase, you can do the full down payment of $14,000 down. That is non-refundable and due at the time of order. And through a lease purchase would be the only way to do a manual transmission.
All right. Ron asked, I custom ordered a Freightliner and Jennifer Sutton put the order in on April 16th. How long until I have a pickup date?
This is actually a really good question and kind of expands on another thing I wanted to mention. Truck orders right now are about 4 to 5 months out. So we are not getting VIN numbers until 2 months or so before the truck is due to come in. And as soon as we get that VIN number from the manufacturer, we're passing that along. You know, last year we had a ton of delays with COVID. This year we're having parts delays. And that's really what we're battling right now. So we haven't had a lot of new trucks coming in. They are at about a 2 to 3 week delay coming in from the manufacturer. We're experiencing, like I said, parts delays. Also, another one, as crazy as it sounds, is transportation. If you're not aware, there's like a car rental shortage, and we're experiencing that with our transportation side. They're just having a hard time getting transporters out to the trucks at the border to bring them to us.
Greg said, morning, if I order a truck with options, do I pay that cost up front if I'm not doing ACE lease?
So there's a couple different ways to pay for your truck extras. If you have been on the truck or in a lease for over a year, then you have the option for that to come out in a period of 10 weeks in payments. If you have not been leasing for a year, then it is due up front before the truck is ordered.
Did Prime make a decision on Volvo trucks yet?
At this time, we will not be ordering any Volvo trucks. They're not going to be a part of our next 3-year truck deal.
Chad Walworth said, do lease drivers take precedence over company drivers?
It's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, no. I'll let them expand on kind of their process and kind of divvying the trucks up.
So it's basically an order of check-in. So, I mean, even if we have a company driver that checked in before one of the lease drivers, then we will basically correlate between her and I, and we'll try to see who can get the truck first, basically. So it's order of check-in and how the check-in process is. It's kind of a first come, first serve basis on that aspect.
All right. Aaron said, my end of lease is July 10th. How early should I put myself on the list to do a new lease?
We won't be able to put you on the list until you're actually here on the yard. You can turn the truck in up to 7 days before that end of lease date, but you will not be able to get put on my list until you're actually here and ready to look at trucks.
All right. The Show Me guy said, how many are on the list as it stands right now?
I currently have 6 reefer drivers waiting. I have 5 flatbeds and 1 tanker driver at the moment.
Not to be specific, but
right
Yeah.
now. Sorry.
I also
that's great.
I would like to mention that is who we have in the yard right now.
Yeah.
So just because we have only, I think you said 6 people waiting, that's not a total of how many we have needing trucks.
Yes.
We have a lot of people on the truck availability list that we haven't brought in yet, just because we don't want you guys to get here and sit, especially going into the holiday weekend. So we're trying to get all of those trucks kind of ready and work through. So once you get here, you're able to look almost immediately.
Yeah.
Great. Country Trucker Brad said, I finished my 30,000 miles 2 weeks ago. I'm at home now as my trainer is taking 2 weeks off. Who will contact me to come in to take my classes?
That really should be your fleet manager. So they are going to be the one who tells you when you're approved to come in for classes, which would then start the process of finishing your classes and then getting checked in with these girls.
Definitely give your fleet manager a call today.
Yes.
Alfred Hink said, any update on completion dinners in Pittston?
Lease completion dinners in Pittston and Salt Lake City are a little bit tricky just because we don't have fire and ice there like we do here. So they've always kind of been at the dispatcher's discretion. If you're out of Pittston, I would definitely recommend getting with Rick Yarbrough to try to get a dinner set up. As always, if you're here in Springfield, we'd love to get that set up with you. If you're based out of the Salt Lake City terminal, I know Brian does dinners periodically for Salt Lake City and Denver. Regardless, though, you can always give leasing a call. You can call and talk to me, and we can try to get that set up for you.
As a lease purchase, how many months can you be off?
That's kind of a tricky question. So as a lease purchase, in between leases, you can take up to 59 days off without losing your longevity. As a lease purchase, if you have a driver running the truck, on the leasing standpoint, there's not an amount of time that you have to be active, but definitely get with your fleet manager, because on the operations side, there is I believe, a rule of how many days you can go without being dispatched. So make sure you get with your fleet manager on that piece.
Attilio Ventura said, if I lease purchase a truck, can I go with a different APU company?
I mean, we don't have very many who do, but yes, if you wanted to purchase an APU outside, you could. Again, I would definitely recommend coming in and talking with leasing about what your options are on that.
Andrew said, so September, I'll be leasing for a year. My lease ends in January 2022. Could I order now and have the extras paid in payments?
No.
No.
You have to be leasing for at least a year at the time.
Okay. Brandon said, do you offer any Peterbilt trucks? So why don't you talk about our models and what years we're currently using?
Go ahead.
Me.
Oh, you do it.
So, so right now we don't have anything older than a 2019. I do believe we have we're ordering 2022s right now. Okay.
Yep.
So, once you have leased for 90 days, you can place an order for a new truck. But right now we'll have anything from a 2019 to 2022.
And you carry Peterbilt,
Freightliner.
Freightliner, Peterbilt International.
Perfect. Jessica said, what are the dates or years that the 3-year truck deals are made?
They, like this year, we're working on the next 3-year truck deal. So we'll be working on that through the end of the year.
All right. I think that is, we got one more here. This truck rolls about 10,000 into TNT. Anything I need to do to lease before coming into upgrade?
The only thing that if you wanted to get ahead of the game that you could do would be if you have an LLC, make sure you have all of those documents ready. We do have Abacus here on site who offers a tax class and helps you file for your LLC. Other than that, you really do all of your upgrade classes once you get here, once you're approved and you're coming into the terminal.
And we did have one question on our post from this week. Robert Dess said, can Success discuss the process of converting to a lease purchase at end of lease?
Yeah, so you've got 2 options for a lease purchase. You can either order the truck and do a brand new truck as a lease purchase, or if your truck qualifies, so the truck has to be at the 3-year mark in less than 450,000 miles, you can do a lease purchase on your current truck. If you're wanting to do a lease purchase on your current truck, there is a form online that you'll need to fill out. It's on successleasing.com in the Knowledge Center, and it's just called Lease Purchase Request. What that does is it gives us a lot of the information we need up front to get you pricing, and then we will send you back a quote sheet which has what the truck value will be, and that is based on market value now, and then a few other instructions for what to expect whenever you come in.
Mike said, is Kenworth an option currently?
It is something that will be discussed in the 3-year truck deal, but it's not anything that we finalized yet.
And Brandon said, what are the payments on a new truck?
You're gonna put me on the spot. 2022 Freightliners are going to be $1,085 a week. 2022 Internationals are going to be $1,065 a week. The 2022 Peterbilts, I believe, are $1,045 a week. Don't quote me on that one.
All right. If anybody has any questions, how can they reach you guys?
You can always go online at successleasing.com. We have a contact us now. We have our 800 number, which I think Andrew can probably put up on the screen. And then you can always message us through, through the Qualcomm.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a no-go.
You're on.
Okay, I'm live.
Brandon and Salt Lake, I don't know if he's going to join us, so why don't you talk about that right now?
Okay, we were going to have Brandon from the cafe in Salt Lake City here today with some news, but I think he's out there working pretty hard right now, so he's not available. Did want to let everyone know that next week, the hours of the cafe in Salt Lake City are going to be expanded. Monday through Friday, it'll be from 7 in the morning till 8 p.m. And on Saturday and Sunday, which it's not even open now, it will be open on Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 in the morning till 5:30 in the evening. Obviously, we want to keep expanding that. What we need to do is expand that terminal. We need drivers out there. Good chance to put a plug in for recruiting. If you have someone in that area, kind of the Western State area, that might be a good candidate to come to Prime and run out of that Salt Lake City terminal. It's a fantastic facility. It's given us a great opportunity to grow out there. That's our challenge. We didn't build it for today. We built it for down the road. And that's what our challenge is to work or to grow into that massive terminal that we built. And I know we can do it. It's in a fantastic location. We got great folks out there running it, and it's going to give Prime a lot of opportunity in the future. I did want to thank the ladies from leasing. You know, I sit near leasing. If you know where safety is in the Z building, leasing is right behind us. They do a fantastic job. I've really seen over the years as that department has, I'll just say it's kind of matured, and Drew and Kylah have really taken it to a new level there. I think you can see Brittany and Chelsey are both fairly new, but look at the knowledge they have. And I think more important than their knowledge is look at their attitude. Look at how positive they are. They want you to succeed. And I think everyone knows this, but just to make sure, if you don't, the success of Prime, more specifically, the success of those of us that don't drive, depends upon our operators. That's why it's so important that we're all in and supporting our operators, whether you're an owner operator, a lease operator, a company driver, a second seat, a brand new PSD. We are all in on supporting you. And I think you see that from leasing. I heard Drew say one time, he said, the answer to the question is yes. Now, what's your question? And of course, that's a little bit embellished. We can't say yes to everything, but leasing does a great job at looking at situations and trying to say, how can we accommodate the driver? What can we do for him? It's a great group of folks over there. If you don't know them, you saw a couple on the screen here, stop in and see them, meet them. It's no different than your road assist advisor, your log advisor, your payroll advisor. Face-to-face contact, nothing beats us, and nothing beats that. And as we're bringing folks back in, you're going to be able to meet some of those folks that maybe haven't had the opportunity to meet. To leasing's credit, they've almost been entirely on site through COVID, working through it. So I just wanted to thank leasing for being on here. As I mentioned earlier, we do have Dr. Abraham here today. Dr. Abraham runs Trinity Health, which is in the basement of the Millennium Building. He's kind of our medical review officer for medical issues that we have. With 8,500 driver, there's going to be issues with return to work, medications. We always go to Trinity and we get good information. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Abraham with us all the time, and particularly during COVID. So I'm going to ask Dr. Abraham to come up, and just personally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Abraham, for the last 14 months. It hasn't been easy, but you've gotten us through it. So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Definitely been a long 14 months, and we're happy to finally see some light at the end of the tunnel. We're pretty much there. As everyone knows, we are mask free as of today. Those of you who still wish to wear a mask, by all means, feel free to do so, but it's no longer mandated. We're still doing vaccinations downstairs, Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. We do have a sign-up link online. If you go to our website, trinityhcmed.net/COVID, that should take you to it. But again, you can sign up on there. There's a consent form on there as well. So far, we've done probably about 1,700 vaccines or so. Everything's gone well. Haven't had any severe issues. Occasional arm soreness, flu-like symptoms afterwards. Thankfully, nobody's died yet. That's always a good thing. I know that's always a question for everybody as far as side effects, et cetera, goes. But like I said, we've been fortunate, and we've been doing well with it. We are using the Moderna vaccine. For those of you who are getting individual shots elsewhere or having your first shot done elsewhere, you can get your second shot done with us if you need to, and vice versa. If you get your first shot with us, by all means, if your home state has it where you can get your second shot, get in there and get that done as well. A lot of talk about booster shots or booster vaccines coming up. I really don't like the fact that they're using the word booster. In all reality, it's going to be much like the flu shot where you get one annually or so. I do think we've seen the worst of COVID so far. I think it's kind of run its course through the world's population and taken its toll as it has done through over the past 14 months here. And until we see a decent mutation come about, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Each year you have a flu virus that comes around, and you have fatalities from that. COVID's going to do much in the same. We'll continue to have fatalities, but not to the same degree that we had over this past year. I do think a lot of that is due to genetic variation and some people being slightly more susceptible to having bad issues with COVID. If you look at the Spanish flu of 1918, we've experienced that since then. It just hasn't been as severe because a lot of people that were more susceptible to bad issues initially passed away in that initial wave. So you will continue to see COVID resurface, and we'll probably see something down the road that's very similar that's going to happen again. And I think as time goes on, as they identify more of the genetic factors involved, it'll be, you will see a better opportunity to identify people who are going to be more susceptible, people who are going to need vaccinations or would benefit more from them than other people.
We do have a couple questions. Alfred said, are you doing Johnson & Johnson?
We are not.
You said you have Moderna. And then any plans to get vaccines at the Pittston terminal?
With the Pittston terminal, we have not had any plans to get vaccines out there, unfortunately. We are in the process of getting clinics set up in Salt Lake and Pittston. A lot of times it depends on the state regulations as far as licensing and getting medical clinics set up there. So that's been a lot of the holdup and issues we've had. We can't transport our vaccine from Missouri to Pittston or to Salt Lake because it is a federally funded vaccine and it's issued by the state of Missouri. We have to keep it within the state. Now, if drivers are coming in from outside of Missouri, it's fine to administer the vaccine here. We just can't take it out of state lines.
And then one more question. Can I get a COVID test at the terminal just so that I can travel internationally?
You bet. Yeah, and we get results the same day. So as long as you get on the schedule and we test you that morning, we get results that afternoon. And when we call you with the results, just ask whoever you're talking to email you those results. And it is an accepted PCR-based test that airlines will accept, and you shouldn't have any issue with it.
Okay. No other questions?
Yep. All right.
Anything else?
Okay.
No?
Thanks.
All right.
You know, we do see the comments rolling up there. Excuse me. And I saw one come up several times, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to have leasing back to talk about the difference between leasing or buying from Success Leasing and a buyer going individually out to a dealership. I think that's a real good topic. I saw some interest in it. So we'll talk to Success Leasing and get them back, because I'm confident that the program we offer is, I won't say it's the best, but it is a good opportunity. You're certainly welcome to buy a truck wherever you like. It has to be spec to prime specifications, but we'll put our program up against anyone. So we will have leasing back to talk about that, talk about what's included in the payment that you may have to finance differently if you're buying a truck on your own through a dealership. So good question there. And we do appreciate all the questions that you put up there. They've been really good today. As we move next week to the driver meeting, we're kind of deciding what we're going to do as far as making the questions available to our speakers, but we'll work through that. We just ask that we keep them professional like they always are. And remember, you don't have to wait to have a driver meeting to bring up a problem you're having. We've talked about this in the past. We kind of use the expression, don't be a victim. We don't mind hearing about the problem through here. That's fine, but we'd much rather take care of a problem or an issue you're having when you're having it. We got great people here that can help you. So don't think, well, I need to wait to the driver meeting to answer Robert Lowe, how come I couldn't get brand new tires for my truck? We can answer that question at any time for you.
Anthony asked how our inspection numbers during the 7-hour blitz.
Oh, thanks, Anthony. Did really well on the blitz. We were at almost 70% clean for those 2 weeks that we consider the blitz, because sometimes it takes a little while for the inspection to come in. And if you look at it, the blitz, that's the chance for enforcement to shine. And I won't say they're looking for defects, but at that time they're trying to say we caught these trucks with all these violations. But 70% clean was fantastic, and we're super proud of our operators for that. That's just a point that we can continue to improve from. So thanks for that question, Anthony. It was a good road check for us. And that always, sometimes I hear that, well, I'm not going to run, not so much from Prime, but from other carriers, I'm not going to run over the blitz. Probably means there's something wrong with their truck, their electronic logs, but get out there and run during the blitz. It's a good opportunity to showcase your professionalism. Okay, we've got Brian Brown here. I promised that for you. It's always good to have Brian. Brian's our Flatbed sales manager, very knowledgeable of everything going on in Flatbed, new customers, rate increases, holiday freight availability. So the floor is yours, Brian.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Really excited to get here today and talk to the Flatbed group especially, and more excited to be back here in the office full go and see you guys face to face. We've been missing all of you, and can't wait to get back to some sense of normalcy and be here and get together. So just wanted to talk for a minute, and you know, Steve was right this morning to mention first and foremost, you know, Memorial Day weekend, you know, celebrating our veterans and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. You know, we just are so thankful for those heroes and their families. So wanted to mention that right off as well. Summer's coming, it's getting hot. Flatbed drivers are going to be out there tarping in the heat. You know, we want to make sure you guys are safe out there, staying hydrated, taking some breaks when you need them. It's also pretty rainy right now, so make sure that we're tarping those loads, doing a good job of that, keeping those loads dry. We want to avoid those claims for you guys. So also, we've had several shippers that are adding some tarping safety measures for you guys. We've got one big shipper that you guys know out in North Carolina. They've added one out in Utah, and in North Carolina. It's going to be operational in 2 weeks. So we're really excited about that. It's a big deal. A lot of you guys have been asking for tarping and fall protection. So we're making some headway there. We're having those conversations, doing everything we can to offer some safety for you guys on that as well. Andrea.
We do have a question.
Yeah.
Is Prime getting Conestogas? Is that how you say it?
Okay, so Conestogas, that's something we're always looking at. Specialized equipment like Conestogas is extremely expensive and something we need to cost justify and look at. It needs to be in a long-term dedicated situation typically for it to work and to have those commitments from a shipper. But if we do have a shipper that's willing to make that long-term commitment and the numbers work out, that's definitely something we're always looking at, but we've got to be prudent about that process. So good question. Is that it right now? Okay. So the market's good. Flatbed freight is really strong, as you guys know. We still need everyone out there running as much as you can. We need trainers. We need teams. You know, we're looking at all of our contract items, rates, fuel surcharges, tarping fees, detentions, things like that. Toll money. We're looking at all those things really hard. Robert's been pushing on us. You know, he's good to keep us on our toes, and rightfully so. And we're having some success there. I got a note from a big shipper this morning in the steel industry. They're raising their detention pay for us and our daily detention max, as well as our truck order not used. So we're making great headway there, fighting for you guys. Most of all, stay safe out there. We appreciate you guys. Come say hello when you get back to the terminal. We're so excited to see all of you. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Guthrie in the reefer operations area. You know, I wanted to look forward really today. It's kind of exciting for us. You know, Springfield just released or just dropped the mask mandate here last night. And so we're excited about that, just back to some sense of normalcy. But I wanted to look back for a minute, you know, just reflecting on what's happened these last 15 months or so, and how well all of you out there have performed, not only for Prime, but for our country, and just express our appreciation to what you've done. You know, we've got a great team. That team starts with our incredible base of drivers. And, you know, we're super excited to get back in the office starting next week on a rotational basis, and then eventually back into the office more full time. But you know, what we've accomplished, what you've accomplished out there, you know, has really been very impactful, not only to Prime, but to our nation and all the people, you know, that live in this great country. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Memorial Day and all those of you that have served in the armed services and served our country. Certainly, it's a great holiday weekend to remember those that have served and reflect on our freedoms, and not only those that have served, but your families also. So we certainly appreciate that and recognize and appreciate all of our veterans and all the veterans out there. Looking forward, that's really the exciting thing. It's a dreary, rainy day here in Springfield, but there's still a lot of optimism because, you know, we've got June coming up in the refrigerated division. It's one of the best months of the year. We've had a little bit of growth here coming up, and that's really important for our customers. They need our support. They need some growth. We want to gain that market share. We want to grab it. So as this market cycles up and down, and as the market cycles change, we want to be the leader, and with all of your support and what you're doing out there every day, we're going to continue to do that. So June's a great month. It's coming up. Everybody have a really safe and good holiday weekend. If you're running through the house, again, the quicker you can get back out is going to help our customer base and help your business. So certainly we want you to get through the house if that's what you are planning to do. But the quicker you can get back out, the better. So we anticipate a really strong demand through the entire month of June. And so the more you can be available for that month, the better it's going to be. Our customers really need our support. Appreciate all you do. Everybody be safe out there. I don't know if I have any questions.
No.
You guys are letting me off way too easy today. Okay. I appreciate what everybody do. Everybody be safe. Thank you.
Prime drivers are the best in the business. We appreciate the work our drivers do delivering for America. And we do our best delivering for them, right here in our new Salt Lake City facility. Prime drivers are the best trained and best equipped, with access to wellness programs, healthcare, and a whole lot more. Because here at Prime, our drivers are our family, and it shows. Join the Prime family today.
You're on.
Okay,
The
I am.
mics are on. Robert, you have a mic up, don't you?
That's what makes doing it live so much fun. We got Andrea Mueller just holding our feet to the fire. I want to thank Brian and Jim for coming up and kind of updating us on those two divisions. And remember, Brett was scheduled to be here. He apologizes, but again, he does want to give a shout out to his nearly 300 trucks out there in the tanker division and all you do out there supporting our customers. That's our newest division, but we've seen nice growth over the years there and a lot of good things going on, including our brand new terminal that we're building in Manuka. That's going to be really nice. And if you remember, the unique thing about that is that's going to support all our drivers. So when you're looking for a safe place to park up near Chicago, you need some limited maintenance done, you need a place that's safe to sleep, that's going to be the Manuka terminal. Is going to be your go-to spot up there. Okay, we always kind of wrap up these meetings with Robert and Steve. We've got them both here. I know they're anxious to get out of the basement. So again, this is it next week. And I saw Andrea's comment, in theory, or the idea next week is that we have Facebook Live incorporated in with the driver meeting. We're going to give it our best shot, but be patient with us next week. And I'd like to ask Robert and Steve to come on up, please.
Thank you. Good morning. So let me ask you, Andrea, were we like real time when we were chatting?
Yeah.
Well, that's the challenge with being live. But here's what I was suggesting. I saw some questions early on. I'll kick this off and you can take it.
Okay.
I saw some good questions here and we appreciate them. By the way, my name's Steve Wutke. I'm in sales. We see people trying to ask, if you walk into a dealership somewhere in America, what will you get as far as the price and how that all rolls into debt service and such as that. Here's all I'm going to suggest to you. Our lease program has so many other opportunities and guarantees. It's not even an even playing field. So there's no down payment. Obviously the truck payments vary, but Robert, I just kind of wanted to get that out because we offer fuel, we offer maintenance support, all those things that are part and parcel of an operator being successful.
And really, there's no comparison with the warranties that we offer and what's out there available from a dealership. Also, a lot of people forget this is a no down payment. So if you take, the price and you amortize, normal down payment and then look at the amount that it's really costing per month with the purchase truck, purchasing ultimately is going to be a little bit cheaper. But I'm not sure you're really going to make more money with everything that we add, including downtime, loaner trucks. Also, big expense, physical damage insurance is included in the payments that we quote. Physical damage is in there. You go buy a truck, a dealership, then you go to the insurance company and buy your physical damage insurance. And it can be very, very expensive.
See, I knew I could light you up on that. I mean, that's just the way it works. We are proud of what we have to offer. We're not perfect. We recognize that. Every day we try to get better. And, And when we are recognizing some of our faults, we try to attack those. I would suggest to all of our operators, you got questions, you got things that you don't think are quite right, just don't be a victim. Call us. We'll get the answers. We'll get the right answers, and we'll move along. That's our, our mantra is we're going to treat you with respect. We're going to make you a good living. You're going to handle freight in the best freight network there is in the country, and we're all going to move along together. We're seeing some growth back in our fleet size, which is really great for our customer base. Yeah, it's going to modulate a little bit through the holidays, and we understand that. Certainly, this particular holiday is really special for all of us that get to live in this great country that we have, Robert.
Yeah, we can't thank our veterans enough. If you're a veteran, thank you. From the whole Prime team, thank you. If you know a veteran, thank them on behalf of this nation, because they have paid the price to keep us free and safe and members of this, just wonderful nation and its economy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We really are the land of the free because it's the home of the brave, and we thank our vets.
Yeah, I would ask that you just take a few seconds sometime during the weekend to thank our veterans and respect those that lost their lives defending our country. So really for us, we're masks free now. It's exciting. We got momentum going. I mean, I've kind of implemented mask free along the way. I must admit, I haven't always been compliant, but we're now completely legit with it. So we'll start seeing you all back here. And how about next week, next Friday?
Yeah, free breakfast back. That's why you want it. You want that free breakfast.
I've been missing it. Missing it. You all come on in here and we'll do it live, and I'm sure it'll be out there for those of you that can't make it. But it's really great to get back to, what we think is tremendously important, and that is face-to-face interaction, explaining our culture, getting our culture to you all so you can feel it face-to-face. So thank you very much for what you do. Right now, our operations team's trying to rack and stack for the weekend so that we can keep you busy running if you choose to stay out. We really appreciate that service, and I can assure you we're gonna have something for you to do, hopefully close to where you get empty. So we might move you around a little bit, but we're going to try to keep freight on you. So thanks very much for all you do, Robert. Thank you.
I second that. Thank you, Steve. It's a holiday weekend. If you're making it home, that's great. If you're out there running, we certainly appreciate that as well. But, this is a great company because we have great drivers. We really have great, safe, on-time drivers. And that's what makes this thing go around. So Steve and I try to take a lot of the credit, but we're really not do it. It's you all that make it happen. So we really can't thank you enough.
Thank you all very much. Be safe. It's our highest calling. Thank you.